All right, welcome back, everybody. We are here tonight for Tier 1. It's the British Grand Prix. It's Zenith Online Racing. I am Arbega. Back alongside me once more. It is Puff Digital. How are you doing tonight?
Doing fantastic. We've got 20 drivers out here on track tonight too, so um, full grid and a wonderful track. One of my personal favorites, so I'm excited.
We are here at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix. It'll be the home race for a few of our drivers here tonight. One of those guys being Jinnit to win it. Filling in as a reserve here. He has moved to Tier 2. He has dropped some assists, moved to Tier 2. So you see Jinnit here tonight. He does not count for points here. He will be starting at the back. Um, Weather looks good here. This is probably the best weather I've ever seen at Silverstone, I have to say. Nice and sunny,
Yes,
barely a cloud in the sky. Good to
weather
see.
report has come in too and overcast for the race. So dry
There is
overcast.
Packer leaving the pit lane as we speak. This is one of the trickier pit exits on the calendar. I always find that the first time I leave the garage here, I find I'm kind of like, whoa, a little caught out by how slippery the uphill right-hander can be on the pit exit.
Yeah, there's like a slight bump there, kind of throw you off, and then you come out really fast. It just throws you right into the track. So um, definitely something to keep an eye on for the race.
Sure. So Packer out first. Looks like one of the AlphaTauris is behind. That would probably be JXW. It is. See JXW there rocking that number 13. I believe Dot the Hoist also number 13 as we see him in the Ferrari out on track. There is a Mercedes tucked in just behind him. That must be Mr. Joshua, or perhaps it is Matthew Dernier. It is Matthew Dernier. So the order: Packer, JXW, and then Doth, Dernier, Joshua, and Dylan in behind. But yeah, good to point out 20 drivers here tonight. It's the first time we've had 20 guys out for a few weeks, so it's nice to see here a few guys of reserves filling in. But really excellent to see so many guys out here racing tonight.
Yeah, love to see a full grid.
Looks like the Ferrari and the Mercedes battling for track position here. It looks like Doth has decided to yield to Matthew Dernier, but now he's going to have Mr. Joshua right behind him as well. So
As Packer just crosses the start finish to start the first hot lap of this session
get on board
through turn one.
with Packer. It looks like
Bit of a
sorry,
lock
I
up
went
there.
to Dylan, not Packer. There we go.
Another lock up, but he's gotten the apex nice on both corners there. Obviously full throttle as you come around into the DRS zone. And then a bit of a lock up, but again, it's nice to stay on the apex. Does well to extend wide on the exit there, and again, full throttle. We'll see if he takes this corner near full throttle. I would assume he does. And yeah, maybe a slight lift, but I do think that was pretty flat out.
Finally lifts there.
Yeah,
Kept it
he's
pinned
coming up
all the
behind
way
his
through.
teammate.
And nice slipstream.
He's going to
here.
give him a great slipstream. Yeah, the teamwork here from the Haas
Great work
team,
from these
and
two.
yeah, right out of the way, and well done to the two of them to coordinate something like that. So again, final two corners, right on the throttle, and again, flat out as you cross the line, and a 124.6.
That
I think he was
is
trying to,
a lightning lap.
yeah, throw everyone off the trail. in the Discord
25-3
earlier.
was what he said
Yeah,
earlier.
he was saying a 25.3, so get on board
2
with
seconds
JX.
faster than JXW. What a lap from Packer. Obviously got a little bit of help from his teammate there, but that is not 2 seconds worth.
No, not at
Doth,
all. As
I
we have
believe.
Doth, yep.
Dernier bailed, it looks like.
Yeah, and Doth, a 25.7 on the
mediums.
medium tire, yeah.
Not a bad lap.
See what Mr. Joshua can do.
Zai crosses the line with a 25.8 on the medium, so not a bad lap from
Yeah.
him either. Not far off his teammate. Do we have anyone else about to cross the line? It looks like a
Joshua
McLaren.
has bailed.
Looks like GP Collins about to cross. There he is. 4th place for GP, obviously. 26-1. So a little off the pace there on the mediums.
Dylan drives by. There's a AlphaTauri and an Alfa Romeo of Adri facing the wrong way on track. So
comes Charlie across the line. 26-0 for Charlie. That puts him into 4th, just ahead of GP Collin. Just behind Zag and Doff. We have I guess that is Dylan coming across the line now for his hot lap.
Yep.
He's invalidated, actually, so this won't count. 24-3, though.
Oh, my goodness.
That is lightning, and it doesn't count, obviously, but he has beat Packer by 3/10, and without even a tow. So, that is huge. The Haas team looking extremely strong here in the early stages of qualifying. Aerostrike just starting his hot lap. Let's stay on board with Aero for this entire hot lap. He is pressing towards the front in that championship challenge. He's only a few points behind Packer now. Let's see what Aero can do here in qualifying. We're right on board. Big lockup there. Got the medium tire. Another big lockup. Medium tires
missed
on.
the apex on that one too. Yeah, a lot of guys opting for the medium tire for their first run. From my understanding, this should be a pretty easy soft to medium strategy. Possibly medium to soft, depending on if you're outside the top 10, but
said he was purple in Sector 1, and generally it's Sector 2 that has the glitch, so it's possible that Aero is the fastest right now, but oh no, big moment there.
Yeah.
Did well to save that, because that car was about, I think, about a 10th or 2 away, staying on the throttle from him being in the barrier.
Yeah, just got like a snap of oversteer there, or perhaps understeer, and then tried to correct, and correcting mid-corner, sent them off, but yeah, really job well done.
Out lap. Bobby on an in lap. Durnia on an out lap as well. Do we have anyone on a hot lap behind? Joshua on an out lap. I don't think anybody's on a hot lap right now. Maybe
not that
Packer.
I can see. I think Fuzz is leading the charge here to be the first one.
Packer is on an out lap as well, so yeah.
You can watch Fuzz go through his
no,
out lap.
I think it's actually Joshua who's actually at the front here.
Oh, yep, good call.
So Mr. Joshua will stay on board with him, and then we'll jump to Fuzz after, see what he can do. Joshua running some clear. He's going to catch some traffic potentially very quickly. There's a few cars dawdling around these corners.
We've seen a lot of lockups into turns 2 and 3 here. A bit of a moment there. Getting on the throttle. Camden warming his tires well out of the way.
And that looks like it potentially is purple for Mr. Joshua as well. I've seen a lot of purple first sectors tonight. I'm starting to wonder if that might be a bug.
The patch did come out today, so I'm sure they introduced about 4 or 5 more bugs.
Yeah.
Oh, and he invalidates it. That was just
I
millimeters.
don't think he left the track.
Yeah, I really thought he had that right tire still on the track, but the game does not care what we think. Let's get on board with Fuzz.
On board with Fuzz now as he throws it through cops.
Yeah. Looks pretty easily flat out for him. Might be having a bit more downforce in his setup. Some of the other guys
looking really smooth through Maggots and Beckett's as well. Now down the hanger straight. And he's got a little bit of a toe from that Ferrari in front. Zag lifting up, you know. Wants to make sure Fuzz might have to pay for that slipstream.
Fuzz really waited until the last moment there to bail out from behind him.
Big lock up there.
He does,
too.
yeah. Missed the apex slightly, but nice recovery
for Fuzz into second. Nice lap from Fuzz.
Yeah. We actually missed Durnia. He was pretty solid, 25-4. And Arrow is the first of the medium runners.
Packer, he's up. It said he's up a 10th and a half. So Packer now heading down the hangar straight to the final few corners here at Silverstone. And we will see if Packer can improve on his provisional pole lap See if Iro Dillon has started. Oh, so Packer into the pits. Iro Dillon has started a hot lap, and we saw his invalidated lap time would have been good for provisional pole by 3/10. Let's ride on board with Dillon here. See if he can do anything with that. A lot of lockups. Every driver seeming to be locking up through here, but it doesn't seem to hurt them tremendously.
Yeah.
So maybe
We've got
just a
Doth
setup.
coming through Stowe here into the final chicane. Again, bit of a lockup, but he was
Doth
up.
is up. Yeah, he could jump up into third here potentially. And he is into third. Great lap from Doth there.
Yeah.
Get back to Dillon here as he approaches Cobbs. Bobby getting out of the way nicely there. Smooth turn in for Dillon, and he just keeps it on the road. Dillon keeping it full tilt, full throttle through Maggots and Beckett's. When does he lift? Just now. Three corners he kept it flat. And he's backed out of it.
Yeah. He was so aggressive through there. I'm surprised he's gone and lifted. And also important to note, Ryan and Camden, both really impressive times, jumping up into second and third. And Adri in sixth. He is a full-time driver now in Tier 1, so it's going to be his first time actually testing his qualifying pace against these guys.
No, I think last week he just snuck in as a full-time last week and qualified as well.
He wasn't here last week, though.
Oh.
He was on his vacation. So, yeah, this will be from here on out. Full-time driver, teamed up with Zamoglis, who's not here today, but in the Alpha.
With Doth heading in, it doesn't look like anyone really on a lap at the moment. Let's get back to these McLarens, checking with them. We got GP and T-Money. T-Money looks like he might... No, he's not. Who's just behind T-Money? It's so hard to tell when the colors are so close together there. I think it's a pink car.
Camden.
Yeah, I was going to say it must be Camden. Camden is on a push lap, it looks like, as well. So maybe got a nice tow from T-Money there.
Yeah. It's squirrely on the exit.
Ran out of
and
fuel
I think
or something.
Yeah.
Backed out of it, maybe? Because didn't want to start on the softs, perhaps? I don't know.
He got his time on the softs, though, and
yeah,
they
it seemed like
tires.
he lifted there. Yeah, odd. Perhaps, yeah.
Maybe just knew he wouldn't get out for 2 more runs. Maybe just wanted an extra lap and I don't know, pit and do his final run. But Charlie,
beat that time, he's taking life out of those tires. Charlie in second into the 24s as well.
Breaks into the 24s. So
great lap.
Yeah, fantastic showing from him so far. And Bobby up in the 10th. So again, solid. Himself up there.
That Mr. Joshua on a flyer he has not put a time on the board yet. Let's see if he can secure one here as he heads into the final section of the track. A little deep there, doesn't quite hit the apex. Looks like he's carrying a lot of speed though.
Yeah.
Short
shifted
a little
up in the
early
fifth there. Yeah.
25-3. I think he maybe could have squeaked out 5th place, or 6th place even, if he didn't shift up. So it seemed like it bogged him down just a tad there, maybe cost him that extra couple hundredths that he needed.
Yeah, very tight though through that group, 6, 7, and 8, all 25.3. So
Zyg is starting a hot lap. Anyone else on a flyer right now? So we have a few guys. Durnia, Joshua, Arrow, all in order here. We do have someone rounding the back of the field. Is it Bobby, perhaps? Let's stick with this bunch here. Joshua, Durnia, and Arrow.
Joshua would have just set his time.
It says both guys have 0 laps on the tire, so it looks like they're both on a push lap right now. They both have the battery turned up. And Arrow trying to tag along behind. Oh no, I guess you're right. It must be incorrect because he looks like he's given Durnia a slipstream here. He's nearly gotten in Arrow's way, it looks like.
Zyg, I'm on board with him at the moment, and he's looking very, very strong.
Joshua and Durnia both pit, so Arrow's going through to finish his lap, and he's up 8/10, it says. Into second. Great lap from Arrow there. 24.8. He's not far off Packer's time.
No, not at all. I don't know if he'll have enough time to get back into the pits, though, and get back out. I don't think so.
It's going to be very tight. He'll have 2 minutes.
And Zyg up into 6th place, 25-1, so really, really solid lap from him.
And Arrow is out of fuel, so Arrow needs to get around as quickly as possible to get a chance of getting back out there, but I don't think he's going to. Do we have anyone on a flyer at the moment? AlphaTauri, it looks like perhaps is GXW. He is on a flyer. He's up 3/10. That would potentially put him into the top 10.
JX, just about to cross the line here.
And that is into the top 10 for JXW.
Yeah.
Just squeaks it in there and into 8th. So good lap there from JXW. This is Iro Dillon on an L lap on the mediums. He's really opting for the medium strat here. He hasn't actually put a time on the board yet, so Packer also just starting his flyer, so his final run of the session. Where is Aerostrike on track? Arrow just getting into the pits. He just might have enough time, but it's going to be very tight. I don't think he's going to be able to do it. He still needs to get to the pick box. I think Arrow's done. So who do we have on a flyer at the moment?
We do have Packer. That's who I'm riding with at the moment. Seeing if he can improve on his time here. Just about to come through Cobbs. Yeah, easy flat out.
What's up? Camden on a flyer. Adri as well.
And he happens to catch up to his teammate Dylan yet again. For
Dylan on
another
his
toe.
out lap on the mediums to set his final qualifying run here, and
Look at
Packer
the
getting
teamwork
another
of these
brilliant
two.
toe.
Yeah. This Haas team is something else here today.
You know, if Packer kind of keeps a reasonable amount of pace ahead here, he could easily end up giving Dylan a toe down the back straight as well.
Yeah.
But Packer improves by only 800ths though, so 24.5 for Packer. Let's check in behind. I think Camden also on a flyer. We'll check in with Camden. It looks like he's coming through Maggots and Beckett's right now.
Yeah.
He is up. What can Camden do? Someone is about to cross the line. Is that Adri? It is. Let's check in with Adri, see what kind of time he could set here. Adri currently 10th. Can he improve? It looks like he's well off the pace here. Let's get back to Camden.
Looks solid through the final few corners here.
25 flat for Camden. That puts him into 4th. And we have the two
Charlie.
Mercedes just about to start a run here with just enough time.
We have Charlie on a hot lap coming through the final, or coming through Stowe right now. Very aggressively takes that corner. And it validates. What?
Unbelievable. I don't think he ran wide there.
I don't either. It looked like he had half the car on the track.
24.9 as well, so that would it, well, did it count?
Slight improvement, but
There's Fuzz,
that
he's
didn't
validated. Dylan, let's check in with his medium lap time. What can he do here? He's running that reverse strat. Can he get himself into the top 5 on those mediums? He does into second. Unbelievable lap. That is dominance from the Haas team here in qualifying. Can they convert it to a 1-2 in the race?
4.7 on the medium tire.
Bobby into 14th. Got a Renault, that's Ryan into 5th. Good lap from Ryan. This is Adri, I believe, crossing the line for his final run here. Just about out of fuel. Can he improve into the top? Oh, and Adri spins it. Adri has spun it on the final couple corners. Very unlucky for Adri. It looked like he might have been on for a top 10
We
start
have Mr.
here.
Joshua right behind him now. Again, coming through the final 2 corners. We'll see what he's able to do. Oh, and he can't improve.
From Durnia there, puts him into the top 10. Look at how close these times are through the field.
It's madness.
3rd down to 13th, all half a second apart. That's 10 cars within half a second of each other. This is going to be a hell of a race. Do we have anybody else on a final run here? It doesn't look like it. I think that is it for qualifying. If you want to run us through the order, I'm going to take a quick break and I will be back for the formation lap.
Yes. All right, on pole position. I've lost track of how many times this season. Seventh or eighth time this year, maybe? We have IRO Packer with a 24.5. In second, his teammate IRO Dylan on the medium tire. Very important to note. In third, we have Aerostrike. In fourth, Charlie. Fifth, we have Ryan. Sixth, Camden. Seventh, Zyg. Eighth, Fuzz. 9, JXW. In 10th, we have Dernia. 11th, we have Doth. 12th, we have Adri in his first official race as a full-time driver. I've lost the screen, but some other guys in there. All right, behind Adri, we have Mr. Joshua, then Bobby, then GP, and then T Money. Then we have Beck, who wasn't able to set a time. I missed what happened to him. And then we have the reserves of Wolfsburg, RC, and Jinnit. So that will be our starting grid. In the meantime, if you're listening, if you're watching, you want to get a couple shots in at your rivals, or maybe you're just a spectator and you want to say who you think will win, leave a few comments and I'll read them on air. I'll make you a star. We have JXW calling someone a nerd. Fuzz saying he's the quickest admin, but I mean, I didn't qualify. And I don't see RC or Harry anywhere. Um, Alright, you know what? If you guys aren't going to chat, then I'm just going to have to read the standings. Alright, Team 1 standings. As of Austria. In first, Iro Packer with 150 points. In second, Aerostrike with 142. Only an 8-point gap. And then we'll be starting right next to each other. Or sorry, not next to each other. Aero will be starting right behind Packer this race. In third, we have Camden, who's somewhat quietly put together a very solid season for himself. In fourth, we have ZOR, Mr. Joshua. In fifth, we have Doth. In sixth, we have Iro Dylan. He's missed a few races. I'm sure he would be right in the thick of things had he not. In seventh, we have Ryan. Eighth, we have Pillars. In ninth, we have Vitality. 10th, Zimoglis. 11th, we have Fuzz. 12th, we have Charlie. In 13th, we have Matthew Dernia. 14th is Zyg. 15th, JXW. 16th, T Money. 17th, GP Colin. 18th, Beck. And then 19 and 20, we have Bobby and Adri. Quite a few battles really going on here. 9th down to 12th is separated by 4 points. Then we have 13th to 17th is separated by 3 points. So a solid result for any of these guys, and you're really going to find yourself jumping 3-4 positions in the standings. As for the constructors, Haas is first. In second, we have Red Bull. Third is Racing Point. Fourth is the Renault team. Fifth, Mercedes. Sixth, Ferrari. Seventh, Alfa Romeo. Eighth, McLaren. Ninth, AlphaTauri. And 10th, we have the Williams team. Those are your standings as we head into the race.
All right, we are ready to get the British Grand Prix underway here. We are at Silverstone. It's an overcast day, unsurprisingly, here in Britain. Fuzz has given the go-ahead. We are 5 seconds away from the formation lap. We will get things underway. Like Puff was saying, a lot to play for in the standings here. A good result over some of your direct rivals will net you a huge gain in the championship today. So a lot to play for here, especially out front. Aerostrike starting third, right behind both Haas cars. Gotta think if Dylan stays put in second on those mediums, he's really gonna ruin Aero's chances at a victory here today. Not sure he's got the pace to challenge out front, but Aerostrike's race pace and strategy always superior to almost every single other driver in Zenith Online Racing. Wouldn't be
Hmm.
surprised if Aero pulls one out of the bag here today, but you have to give the favor to Packer here with his teammate Dylan playing the wingman role behind. Dylan potentially could even win this Grand Prix given that he's on a better strategy and seems to have outright pace here. So,
Hmm.
a lot could happen here. Let's check in with the tires. Oops. There we go. One guy opting for the hards, that's Beck. Bobby starting on the softs in 14th, bold strategy. So Beck and T-Money have collided on the formation lap and both now reset to the grid. So we'll be starting on cold tires, Beck especially on those hards. Gonna have a really rough first lap on cold hards.
Yeah. Um, and then yeah, Dylan on the medium tire, starting in second place. That is something else. Um, I mean, he's got to be the favorite to win. It's really gonna, I think, come down to safety cars, VSCs. Maybe if one of the other guys can time them right, they'll kind of negate some of the tire advantage he'll have towards the end of the race. But I mean,
Bag of Bones said classic Beck. Yeah, what we'll see from Beck is potentially he'll be on for a podium and then he'll crash into the barrier and take himself out of the race. That's what'll happen. That would be classic Beck. The formation lap thing, I really haven't seen much of it this year, honestly, especially in Tier 1. I don't think I've seen too many people bump into each other on the formation lap and get reset to the grid, but today, T-Money and Beck already sitting there on the grid and going
for
to be
quite a
very
while.
costly. Yeah, a long time. Those tires are going to be very cold. They're going to be at a huge disadvantage here on the start. T-Money probably fuming. Not to say it's necessarily Beck's fault, but generally, if you're the car behind, you shouldn't hit the other guy. That's kind of how it works. Anyways, we'll get to the front of the field here. Take some of that telemetry off. We are almost ready to go racing here at Silverstone. We have 3 lights on. We have all 5 lights on. And we're off. Looks like Dylan got a pretty nice launch there. He might actually take a shot at this into turn 1. Dylan into the lead here.
He's got him.
Dylan into the lead. Great start from Dylan. Aerostrike under threat.
I see some wings flying around.
Oh,
Doesn't look
Packer
as though
has
anyone's gone
retaken.
off.
I think Packer has retaken the lead here. He has. So great start there. Ryan up into 4th. Good start from Ryan there. Gets ahead of Charlie. Aerostrike kind of finding a little bit of a pocket here in 3rd. He's trying to... Hopefully these Haas drivers scrap and Aerostrike can hang on to them. A little bit of action going on behind here. Oh, side by side here. The Red Bull of Dernia... Or sorry, the Mercedes of Dernia and the Red Bull of Fuzz. And behind we have Doth and Bobby side by side as well. Doth up into 12th. So... Great stuff here on the first lap. Look at all the action here. Doth taking a look at Fuzz.
Sends it. Yeah, Fuzz is missing that left end plate.
From Doth. He didn't think twice about that one, regardless of the wing damage or not. That was a ballsy move from Doth.
Yeah, so Fuzz is definitely going to have to pit.
JXW all over the back of Camden here. He's got a great run. Can he take a look? He thinks about it. He does.
Out so late.
He's down the inside. They're still side by side. JX might take this place still.
We'll see if he can hang it around. He's going to have the inside line for the final 2 corners, but no, Camden carries way too much speed through there. And yeah, definitely able to hang on to that. And Fuzz, the only man into the pit, so from 8th down to
side by side here.
Place.
Sorry, I think the game glitched out again, and I've lost track of where that battle was, but there was 2 cars side by side there into the final corner. Unbelievable stuff. I really completely lost. Let's just get back to the front and figure it out from there. This game, honestly, is so infuriating. Buzz into the pits. So Packer, big lock up there. Dylan threatening early here, and Aerostrike not letting them get away at all.
Yeah.
Get through
so I mean,
sector,
even with the tire advantage, Packer really not able to make much of a move here. We do have one of the, it looks like JXW's gone off, and yeah, he is falling down the field here. Now down into last place, second last place.
Doth all over Dernia here. Takes a look into Meggett's and Beckett's, but obviously backs out of that one. Oh, he nearly gets into the gearbox of Dernia here on the exit. Great little scrap here for 8th place. I think it's 8th place. I don't know. The timing is all over the place here.
There we go. It's back to normal.
There we go. Bobby was taking a look at T-Money there. Dylan the fastest lap on those mediums, so obviously threatening at the front his teammate and not letting off at all. Dylan wants the win here. He is not going to let Packer walk away here and play the wingman role.
JXW 5 seconds for speeding in the pit lane, and then we also have Zyg in the pit lane as well, so a couple more wing changes for a few of these guys, and Dylan's getting done, I think.
Dylan through. Oh, they touch!
Oh, contact!
Packer has lost a piece of his wing, and Arrow goes through. That is huge for the championship. Dylan and Packer make contact. Do not hit your teammate, and it's happened.
Do not hit your teammate, and yeah.
Unfortunate for Packer, I really feel like he's thinking, I can't let my teammate on the mediums go through here, but you have to understand, he's on a much better strategy and clearly has the pace. You don't fight him when your championship rival is sitting right behind. And there's Arrow in front, so Packer with the wing damage, absolutely fuming here. He's on a stampede trying to catch Arrow in front. Arrow really needs to lay the hammer down here and get on with it. He cannot let Packer with wing damage attack him.
Gonna have to pit. He's missing that entire left end plate, but he decides to stay out.
He might be able to get the hards to the end if he hangs on for another lap or two.
Yeah, we'll see if maybe some of these guys behind are able to catch up to Packer now that he's got a bit of damage. We've got Ryan, Camden, and Charlie all battling here very closely. And a good scrap between the Mercedes and the Ferrari
getting some
McLaren.
Awful broadcast views here tonight. Really struggling to get the right angles. Yeah, as you can see, the broadcast views.
Oh, and Camden looking to make a move here. Moves to the outside. Ryan gives him a nice little squeeze. All very fair, but lets him know it's not going to be easy. Let's see if he can tuck in underneath. He thinks about it, but yeah, not enough room there.
GP Colin, 3-second penalty there for multiple warnings. He's sitting in 15th
wicked exit. And Camden, they're going to go side by side here through Cops. No, Camden backs out of it. Thinks better of it.
Camden there. It's not worth risking at this point. Camden, 3rd place in the championship, doing quite well here. Really needs to consider scoring as many points as possible, especially if he knows Packer has wing damage up front. This could be a good race for Camden as well. Ryan, though, doing really well, hanging on to 4th place here, defending nicely there. Ryan has been really solid for someone who doesn't get a lot of practice in. Really just has that racing pedigree and is able to just show up and compete. T-Money and Doth side by side there, and Doth keeps the place for the time being.
This Dylan sits the fastest lap. And Camden really just all over Ryan at the moment. Just unable to find a way through. Arrow has broken DRS from Packer, so we'll see now if maybe some of these other guys can begin to close in if Ryan's able to...
See, even Ryan defending is actually taking time out of Packer now, so maybe Packer was just going to stay out long enough. As long as he was in DRS, he gained enough. It's probably worth pitting now onto the hards and trying to get to the end, I think.
Really going around the outside here.
Very tight there.
And beautiful move. Just hangs it out long enough, and
they were nearly wheel to wheel. Both drivers absolutely committed to their line, and neither wavered at all. And Camden comes out the victor there.
Yeah, let's see if Camden now can take some time out of Packer. See if he had some pace on Ryan. And Charlie just really like biding his time.
Another bad shot there.
Very level-headed driver. In 6th place right now.
Yeah, and
Ryan though.
Charlie started up near the front, lost some places on the start, so good for him keeping his composure here, not doing anything
And
desperate.
Packer does go into the pits.
Yeah, I figured he would once he lost that DRS. Made sense. Yeah, he was getting a little bit of help. I think if he puts the hards on, he might get to the end, but obviously he's not going to be nearly the quickest driver on the field now. Something he's used to week by week. I'm assuming he's
See where he comes out.
going on the hards. He's actually gone for the mediums, it looks like.
So maybe that's what he was waiting for. Maybe he thought 20 laps on the mediums and that's their limit. But
It's Charlie, there's a bit of a DRS train going on here. Ryan sitting in the DRS of Camden, and Charlie behind also in DRS. So these three drivers getting a nice little haul up towards Camden Luca.
and Doth is just getting all sorts of pressure from behind from Team Money here, who had a fantastic result last week. I think his best of the season. So looking again to build on that. Currently sitting in 10th and on the medium tire. So pretty solid
Wolfsburg
position
has
for him.
just overtaken Jinnit as well. That's interesting to note. Jinnit doubting his pace here with no line. Wolfsburg passing him, so this would be good for Jinnit. They'll get some practice in with no line. He gets a race under his belt before Tuesday or Thursday, which counts for him. So
yeah, and also Adri. We had mentioned his first race here. As
side
a
by
full-time
side, the
driver.
McLaren T-Money sends it around the outside. He's overtaken under a yellow, I believe, though. Or I guess it's sector 2 yellow, though, so it's probably fair game there. T-Money does get
And
the move done.
Packer, I think, went off. His Packers dropped further down the field. I think he may have been the cause of that yellow there.
He's nowhere near where the yellow flag was, though,
never
on the
mind.
map, so
Seeing
it
things.
may have been Bobby.
But yeah, Adri in 6th on the medium tires is looking very strong at the moment, keeping pace with these this group ahead of him who's all battling each other.
It's Mr. Joshua now starting to close on his teammate Durnia, who's on the soft tire, so those mediums definitely becoming the better tire at this stage of the race. You got to figure those softs generally aren't meant to last more than 6 to 8 laps around Silverstone. It's a 26 lap race here, so it's actually quite a short race if you think about it. 26 laps, and it's a minute 25 was a qualifying pace roughly.
Yeah. Camden looking to break that slipstream. Ryan just not able to get close enough, and yeah, they hold position again, so. Mr. Joshua also not able to make it past. T-Money has gotten past Doth, though. So.
Yeah, I just caught that in the broadcast view, but again, another bad camera angle. Didn't really quite show how nice of a move it was. It was like a side-by-side shot almost. It was awful. The broadcast angles here, whoever the race director is at the circuit here today needs to be fired. This is awful. And it's all close-ups. Like, we've got a 3-car scrap here, and we're zoomed in on the Renault. Can't see the other cars, how close they are. It's unbelievable. It's been like this the entire race so far. You'll see what I mean later.
Oh, I see it.
Oh, you see it. It's brutal, eh?
Yeah, I see it.
With
Yeah.
everybody else, I guess, the drivers, they'll understand what I mean. They'll be like, oh, Bigo was on one tonight, but I'm not wrong.
It's because you've had a couple drinks.
Yeah, I just am noticing
The
things.
Bills were
Yeah.
on.
Yeah. Can I get fired from this job? I don't even know. I guess I think I'm allowed to show up drunk for this one. Ryan really hounding Camden relentlessly, though. And it's actually done wonders for Charlie's race. He's able to kind of keep that gap to Adri behind, despite being on the slower tire at the moment.
It's proving very difficult to overtake around here. Obviously, only the 2 DRS zones, but we're seeing a lot of guys really struggling to, get any moves done.
Wolfsburg now is behind Jinnit by 4 seconds, so he must have had a moment somewhere. Bones says 3 penalty points for drunk commentating. You know what? I'll take it, because I don't think I'll get any more this year anyways, so.
You would have been banned by now.
Well,
Can we
yeah, no.
retroactively apply penalty points?
Yeah, of course. Just for this singular incident, I'll take the penalty. In general, though, no, we're not investigating my other commentaries. Otherwise, yeah, I would have been blacklisted probably 2 seasons ago.
Still no movement really throughout the field. We're seeing the same gaps kind of hold steady. I mean, Mr. Joshua still stuck behind his teammate. Doff still stuck behind Team Money.
Jinnet's going for something here on GP.
Let's
figure that out. There goes Jinnet down the inside and cops. Unreal stuff there from Jinnet. That was absolute madness. I can't believe he went for that. Didn't pay off, but... Whew. No line either. That is... He has the silver balls here. Or whatever we were talking about. The silver stones?
The silver stones, yeah.
Silver stones. I ruined the super easy pun.
The silver balls.
Silver balls. Or balls of steel, one or the other. Silver in color.
Yeah. Adri is now just on the brink of DRS range of this group ahead of him here. So, again, obviously on the better tire strategy. And Camden is actually really closing in on Arrow as well. So, as he's dragging these guys along...
Joshua through. I don't know if that was a little bit of synchronized swimming or not, but Mr. Joshua has got through. And there he is, Adri, popping into the broadcast view. Ryan seems to have the only decent... Oh, right as I say that, we get on the shoulder of Ryan. Which isn't a bad shot, actually, through this sector. But the broadcast view for Ryan's car has actually been decent. It's been zoomed out a bit, and you can actually see the other cars.
We've got Charlie now falling out of DRS range of this group ahead, and we do have... It looks like Bobby has gone off. And all these cars dive into the pits.
Oh, nearly contact there. Ryan into the back of Camden. Almost. Just about needed a wing change.
They
Joshua
all followed
obviously staying out. Durnia staying out as well. So Durnia now actually stays out behind his teammate. Gets a little bit of a slipstream tow here while the other guys pit. Maybe that's enough. The overcut maybe works for him. I just don't see it. Do these softs have any pace left 10 laps into the race?
We'll see if any of these guys come out behind that group of Fuzz, Zyg, and those who had to pit early, but it does not appear so. No, not even close.
So Aerostrike comes up just behind Wolfsburg. That is detrimental. He is going to have to find a way through quickly here. Perhaps Tier 2 camaraderie from last year. Will Wolfsburg let Arrow through?
They were teammates once upon a time. In the Toro Rosso, as it was once called.
Or will Wolfsburg be out to prove something here and try to keep Arrow behind?
I can't imagine.
Not bad for a number 2 driver. No.
Gonna give much of a fuss to any of these guys. Yeah, he's pulled right over.
I think so, yeah. I think he'll let him through when the time comes. I know Wolfsburg listens, and I'm sure he probably realizes how important this is for Arrow, and he's just a reserve. He's not going to hold them up.
There's Bobby getting out of the way. And, yeah, I'm sure once they get to the DRS range, it's not really safe to let him through here.
No, absolutely not. Do not lift through here.
And, yeah. He is going to race him, it seems. He's turned down the battery, so...
Yeah, he's just sort of not making it easy, but not fighting it.
Yeah.
Makes sense. But will now
Wolfsburg try to send it?
Wolfsburg fighting Camden now.
Back in, yeah.
So Wolfsburg is renewing some old Tier 2 camaraderie here. Holding up Camden while he lets Arrow through.
We'll see. Matthew Durnia has stayed out for another lap, just enjoying the tow from his teammate up ahead.
I don't think it's a bad idea, honestly. I really don't.
Yeah, if he does fall out of that DRS range, then I would assume he's going
Yeah.
to
And he'll extend
pit.
his life on the mediums. He'll have a big advantage over the other guys at the end, who likely, as you've seen, struggle in traffic. So there we go. Wolfsburg is fighting down the inside. He's hanging on to this. Camden not getting an easy pass here, but he is through. Yeah, Wolfsburg obviously.
Just hanging on to DRS range.
Wolfsburg obviously playing a little bit of favoritism here as a reserve tonight. I can't blame him, honestly.
Yeah, you know what? They show up to race, and you can't blame them. So.
No. I mean, that's part of it.
Guys,
if you want...
Dernia picks up 5 seconds, all his hard work.
Comes RC on GP Colin. He's looking to make a move around the outside. He sweeps in, and GP, I don't think, has the pace to fight it. They are very close here. Terrible broadcast angles once again, as I've mentioned many times. I cannot get a good shot of them side by side. Really frustrating stuff.
He does hang on, though. Well done by
I'd like to see how he hung on. Both shoulder cams through there on the broadcast angle. I don't understand what they were thinking. Race director should be fired. Protest.
Dernia does not overcut any of these drivers. Will he get out ahead of Packer? Yes, he will indeed. And we have Fuzz and Zyg battling it out for 17th at the back here. Both these guys had to pit very early.
There goes RC. I think he is through now, finally. He is. There we go. We get a nice shot from the broadcast angle. Thank you, race director. Now we can see what happened. Mr. Gomez, Zamoglis. Greetings from North Carolina in the chat. Greetings, Zamoglis. You're sorely missed here tonight, but honestly, it has been a fantastic race here. Let's get to Doth all over T-Money.
As Dylan says the fastest lap again on 13 lap old medium tires.
No, T-Money has that covered.
What's the pit lane here? Like 28 seconds?
GP now fighting it back on RC with the DRS. He sends it down the inside. And he gets it done. RC struggling to keep that place. And here comes Arrow behind. He needs to get through here. Arrow sends it down the inside now. And he is through.
And we've got Ryan, who's gotten ahead of Camden, actually, as well.
Maybe passing through the traffic has somehow picked off Camden Luca here.
For those two who have been racing for the entirety of this Grand Prix so far, find their fortunes reversed yet again.
Aerostrike now pressuring GP Colin. He needs to get through here. Cannot afford to waste any time behind GP Colin.
Camden got a wicked run, and he's going to clear Ryan easily, I would think.
So Dernia had stayed out quite a while on those softs, and he has lost a lot of ground, despite the fact he was running in the DRS range.
And Camden does get ahead of Ryan yet again, so these two battling just non-stop now for 15 laps. And
here comes Doth on T-Money. He's got the DRS. He's going around the outside. Can Doth get it done this time? He does. Doth in front. T-Money looking to fight that back, but just not quite enough grip. Great move from Doth there.
These two as well have been battling now for about 15 laps, so...
Yeah, it's honestly been a fantastic race. This has been excellent so far.
And in second and third, very quiet races, but Adri and Mr. Joshua looking very solid in their positions at the moment. And I'm curious when these guys are going to start to pit. I would think you can definitely take the soft tires 11 laps.
Oh, yeah.
So I wouldn't be surprised to see maybe a few of these guys start to head in within the next few laps. Maybe
it's a
try
slow
and undercut
pit stop
one another.
here.
It is.
So what I would like to point out is it seems Arrow is completely out of contention, but it's a very slow pit stop, so there's a chance he could come out pretty close to Dylan still. Dylan on those softs, so going to be very tough to stop, I feel.
Yeah, even if you give it 30 seconds, let's say, he's going to come out ahead of Beck. T-Money looks really solid through Maggots and Beckets, and he's going to get a wicked run on Doth yet again. Goth worked on that move for about 10, 12 laps, and Team
Yeah,
Money just takes it right back. Not
yeah,
having
all for
any of
nothing.
that. And we'll see now how Doth responds, and he responds by going into the pits, and Dylan has pit as well. So I think a pretty good move by Doth here, actually.
Yeah, he could undercut now that he's lost that place again.
Yeah.
Very, very good move. Let's see what Team Money can do. We'll bring that telemetry up here, see if he fires that engine up to try and make up. I mean, he doesn't have a ton of battery. Oddly enough, this is not Team Money's MO. He is very low on battery at this point of the race. Usually he's 100% at this point. So
probably
really,
due to
really
him
fighting
attacking.
Doth. Yeah, just really fighting Doth here. But he needs to turn it up now to try and cover off that undercut from Doth. Team Money surely has to pit now.
Dylan has come out ahead of Beck and Doth down in 14th, so ahead of his teammate, but he is going to have to make a lot of moves as Packer gets by Dernya as they head into Brooklands, I believe. So Packer now 5 seconds off the points. There is one reserve driver ahead of him actually, so he should be in the points.
Charlie and Ryan closing on Camden now.
Team Money heads into the pit, so we'll see if Doth's undercut strategy was able to work. As Ryan
makes it
gets
through
past Camden, yeah. And I have no doubt in my mind that this is going to go to the very last lap at this point.
Honestly, at this point, yeah. These two have been duking it out for the entire Grand Prix, but...
We'll see now if Doth, he's coming around the final corner here. I think Team Money might have the position. Oh, it's going to be so close. No, Doth is going to get him.
Doth gets a massive undercut from Doth there.
Barely, yeah. Well done. Ferrari strategy there.
So back to this full race length battle between Ryan, Camden, and Charlie, and then we'll also keep tabs on that Doth Team Money scrap as well. Out front, looks like Dylan pretty comfortably going to win this Grand Prix. Aerostrike selling into a second place, net second once everybody pits.
Adri and Josh have still stayed out. They're still going as Mr. Joshua does dive into the pit, so he should comfortably come out ahead of Doth and Team Money, I would assume. But be curious where exactly he does come out.
So Ryan, really rapid through Maggots and Beckett's there, gets a really good exit and is able to cover Camden off quite nicely there. No real threat there, but Team Money on the slightly fresher softs now attacking Doth. So we'll check in with that battle as soon as possible. Back to Camden, Ryan, and Charlie. Charlie just starting to lose touch here. There's Mr. Joshua exiting the pits. Where will he come out?
Does he get out ahead of Packer?
It looks like he might.
Oh, it's going to be so close.
Packer has to go for this right now. Mr. Joshua on the cold tires just left the pit. Packer needs this place.
Yeah, a bit of a wobble in the dirty
Not
air
what he
there.
needed, but he still gets a good exit. I think Packer's going to get this.
Mr. Joshua can maybe defend this, but yeah.
No, he does not.
Ahead, yeah.
So Packer in front.
To the corner.
Now, does Mr. Joshua absolutely has to stay in front of Dernya? There's no way Dernya needs to go in front on the harder compound there. So Mr. Joshua needs to get these tires fired up, get on the attack.
And Adri stays out again. So curious if maybe he's hanging on.
Joshua's closing back in here on these softs. He's got them fired up. And Packer on the mediums might actually be under threat here with the DRS. Mr. Joshua looking sharp. Let's see if he can take a crack at this. Down the hanger straight. He's got a really nice toe.
Speed. Yeah.
Mr. Joshua is going to get this place. He's in front of Packer.
And he needed that desperately. He has to get a move on. on this group here of Charlie, Camden, and Ryan.
Absolutely.
He wants to make an impression on this race.
He cannot afford
And
to have Packer in front again. What's happened here? Yellow flag.
looks like Zyg and Fuzz potentially. Yeah, the two of them. I'm not sure if they've collided or what has happened, but it does appear as though they had a coming together.
Matthew Dernia could also turn things up here and try to get on the back of Packer to help relieve the pressure a little bit for Mr. Joshua. Packer closing with that DRS, but not close enough. I think Mr. Joshua may actually keep this place for the moment. Packer, 12-lap old mediums, despite his relentless pace, not going to be able to get back in front of Mr. Joshua. So now, can Matthew Dernia, I guess he is Mr. Dernia as well, but Matthew Dernia, can he close in on Packer and
Mr.
potentially take
Dernia.
another place here? Mr. Dernia and Matthew Joshua.
We'll see now. Adri has finally pit 20 laps into this race. We'll see if he comes out ahead of Mr. Joshua. He didn't have much of a gap, only about
Camden
2 seconds.
Nearly had a crack at Ryan there, but just wasn't close enough.
Now Adri's
Comes Packer.
leading the pits.
So Packer now right on the tail of Mr. Joshua. Did he have a moment there? He was nearly he's nearly cleared him. And now is right in the clutches. He is struggling,
Adri
it seems.
is going to be so close to this group here.
Here comes Adri out front.
Just ahead. So,
huge
well
for
timed.
Adri. Mr. Joshua with a big lockup. That's going to put him under serious threat from Packer here. But Joshua will get that DRS, so that will help him. Oh, Packer absolutely on the tail of Mr. Joshua. He's blown it here. Can Packer get through? He's through. I think Packer's got the place. Joshua around the outside. Unbelievable stuff.
Oh,
Joshua keeps it. Joshua keeps the place. Unbelievable. Oh, what great racing from these two.
And then, fighting for that final podium position, we still have Camden right behind Ryan. We're about to head down the hangar straight as Zyg has retired in the pit lane.
Yeah, he's done.
After a pretty solid qualifying too, unfortunate for him. But Ryan, again, just keeps getting a wicked exit out of there.
So Joshua now closing on Andrew, so this could put a real wrench in the gears of Packer's plan here. If
and
Mr. Joshua
Adri
gets
really
in front.
closing on Charlie as well, so...
Turnia hanging on as well, so we've got quite the scrap going on here for 6th place at the moment. That is Zyg's car leaving the pits. Not a great corner for it to be on the track.
No. Charlie does get the exit he needs.
So close to Ryan, but not close enough. This has been an incredible race, honestly. We're 5 laps from the end here.
And they're only 1.4 seconds behind Arrow.
Right. It's really great stuff. Dylan absolutely dominant out front. Clearly going to win this Grand Prix. But the field has been absolutely dead even. It's been non-stop battles through the pack. Some great stuff here. Doth has lost a bit of ground to T-Money, but he's still within reach.
And I think Adri, this is going to be his best chance here to get by Charlie. The grip of those soft tires so much better than the mediums, and he's got a wicked run now.
Here it goes. Adri behind Packer taking a peek, but can't get it done. So Adri through. Charlie now under threat from Joshua and Packer.
Yeah, and now Adri with 4 laps to go here. We'll see if he can close in on this group and maybe have a chance at that podium.
Behind Packer, thinking about it into Abbey, but obviously not going to send it there. Oh, Packer does send it. He's side by side here. Wow, great stuff there. We're on the left side pod of Packer, and he nearly got through. Mr. Joshua, we're on the side pod of his now. Just, there we go. Great shot. Here comes Packer down the inside. And Packer had it done. Joshua with that extra grip. Can he hang it around the outside this time? Packer's closing it off. He's remembering what happened last time. Joshua maintains the
Mr.
place still.
Joshua.
Unbelievable defense from him. That is outstanding stuff. I have to see.
They're both right behind Charlie as well, and he's probably like hopes they're scrapping, but
Yeah, but it's not. It doesn't matter. They're still catching him.
and Camden, Ryan just keeps getting a perfect exit through Chapel there.
Here comes Packer again, right on the tail, but there goes Mr. Joshua around the outside of Charlie. Down the inside of Charlie, sorry. And Packer gets stuck behind. Does he? No, he gets through. That's huge for Packer. He needed to get through. Dernia's sending it now as well. Dernia side by side with Charlie here into the final corners. And he's through. No, he's not. Oh, they touch.
Oh, he's pushed him a bit wide there. Yeah, but
Pushed him off, but he is through. Is it enough for a penalty, though, after the race? It's hard to say. Wow, this has been I think this is the race of the year so far, honestly.
this has been quite
It's
nice
been-
throughout the rest of the field. And
It's
Ryan
been
now,
unbelievable.
again, under pressure from Camden, but what can he do? Camden just not close enough to send
And that's
it.
bringing the rest of those guys into the mix here. We still have 3.5 laps to go.
And
I think we
Ryan-
could see a full-on scrap here for the final podium place.
And Ryan is tantalizingly close to DRS range on Arrow ahead.
Yeah, I mean, even 1.1 seems like an eternity at this point, but he is in DRS range now. So
Yeah.
from second down to, you know, even 8th place, I think, well, realistically 7th place, but down to 8th even potentially, have a crack at 2nd place here.
We'll see now. I mean, Adri as well. We'll see if he can throw his hat into the ring here and potentially steal a podium, which would be a fantastic result for him, as he is now just within DRS range. So, and then even behind these two, we have Mr. Joshua and Packer, and yeah, do not like to turn away for these last few laps here.
Yeah,
As Ryan is just really pressuring Arrow now, like right on the back as Arrow locks up.
don't blink.
As
Also,
we'll
don't
see
go
now-
refill your wine glass either, which is something I really want to do at this point, but it's too close.
Arrow gets a crucial exit out of that corner there. He needed that. Oh, and Packer has a little bit of a moment. Is able to save the car, but that's going to cost him some time and maybe cost him DRS range. Or DRS, rather.
Look at
And
this
Ryan
scrap
has
here
been-
for second now. Ryan looks like he's trending towards P2 at this point.
He's been very strong through this sector. All race long.
It's an excellent launch here with that DRS. I think he's going to get this place. He's very close. Ryan sends it down the
Moves
inside.
to
Can
the
Arrow defend it?
inside.
Ryan's through.
And
Ryan.
Ryan, yeah, hangs that. And he's up in his second now. And Adri's so close behind these guys as well, as Mr. Joshua is still hanging on to 6th place there. We'll see what Arrow's able to do, if maybe he's able to fight this back.
And Doth is now closing in on T-Money again. It's unbelievable stuff here.
You know, Arrow's
Whoa!
exit is through
Late
this
send
corner.
from Adri. Oh, and it's cost him dearly. Mr. Joshua potentially picking up this place now as well. I don't know what Adri was thinking there. That was never on.
I missed that. I was watching Arrow come through the corner there, and
Adri
Yeah, I
had a
missed
crack
what
at a
happened.
podium there and just got desperate.
now we have 2nd through 7th, all within DRS range of one another. Adri, I guess, just slightly out. But
Camden may pick off this final podium place from Arrow here. He is closing. The race pace of the midfield, well, I wouldn't say it's the midfield, really. It's just we're talking P2 here. But the rest of the pack here has been outstanding. Everybody just so close to one another.
Arrow closing, 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 but just not enough. He's going to have a couple more cracks at it here, but it's going to be difficult. Ryan has shown himself to be a staunch defender all throughout the season, so...
This will be the second win in a row for Dylan, I believe.
Yes, and with Packer only in 7th currently, that will gain him quite a... Oh, his Adri's got into the back of Camden! Oh, no! I think he's made contact with Joshua and Packer as well. Packer is missing his left end plate, and I believe Mr. Joshua is as well.
So Camden now super close to the back of Arrow. The final podium place is up for grabs here. I'd love to get a shot of Dylan crossing the line for the victory, but I just don't think we can look away from this scrap for second here. Ryan trying to hang on. Arrow closing very quickly. Arrow might have a crack at this. This is going to be the final chance. If Arrow gets in front here, Ryan's really not going to have a crack back at this. So the scrap for P2 is on. It's a three-way scrap for P2. Camden right on the tail. Arrow strike right behind Ryan, but Ryan just absolutely rapid through these corners tonight. I think he's going to have this covered, but Arrow is going to be very close.
Closing so quickly.
Arrow does not send it. So Dylan wins the Grand Prix. We've got Ryan, Arrow, and Camden behind. Packer has made the move on Joshua. He's got through. Doth has got in front of T-Money as well.
An Arrow actually finished ahead of Camden based on penalties.
Okay,
Arrow does get second place there.
He must have known that, maybe why he didn't really fight it so hard.
Jumped into 6th based off penalties.
Doth doesn't get a point here. So, Iro Dillon wins the British Grand Prix here in Tier 1. Aerostrike takes home P2. Camden's P3. Ryan is 4th. Packer ends up in 5th, despite looking like he was going to finish 7th there. Made a move on the final couple corners. Got into P5 and actually gained an extra place there based on penalties. So, I guess it was Adri's mistake, perhaps. But regardless, Packer 5th, T-Money 6th, Joshua 7th, Charlie's in 8th, Adri takes 9th, so Adri does get some points. Matthew Durnia takes home 10th, and Doth just misses out on the points despite having a fantastic battle with T-Money. So Doth 11th and T-Money 6th, though they were scrapping nearly the entire race there.
That was crazy. Some of those battles went on for the entirety of this race. I mean,
that was unbelievable stuff, honestly. That was one of the best races I've commentated here in Tier 1. Really, really good stuff. So it's who for the podium? Dylan, Arrow,
and Ryan.
No, it looked like Camden over there.
Oh.
Wasn't it a pink car?
I swear.
Well, we'll check in a second.
Ryan was ahead of him.
Yeah, Camden 3rd.
It is Camden based off the penalty. So Ryan, unfortunately, crosses the line in P2, but drops down to P4. Got a feel for him there.
A lot of penalties here. 17 seconds for JXW, 14 for Jinnit. Good to know for Thursday. Jinnit had 14 seconds of penalties. Don't forget that. We're collecting intel here. That is the order, though. Dylan wins it. Aerostrike is 2nd, and Camden is 3rd. We'll get those guys in for an interview. I'm going to bring up that menu quickly. Send those invites out. So, Puff, it's your time to talk shit. Add players. This party system, I really don't enjoy it anymore. More that I don't know it, but... I was gonna do that. You didn't have to ruin it. Oh yeah, true. True. Good point. Yeah, don't worry. I was gonna go anyway. I was actually gonna try to do it for like each driver as they're speaking. Like when you go to them, I'll move to their car. All right, I'll show up, Packer. Oh wait, he can hear me. Oh shit. Anyways, we're all a team here. We're working together. Exactly. Well, I gave him some advice about what to show more of the stream and stuff like that, what to focus on, and yeah. What I gather, the stream was
It's a
really
team
great on
effort.
Thursday. It's been well, it really has. The streams have all been really great so far from everyone this year, and got a lot of guys step up to do commentary. It's been nice.
Yeah.
How's everybody doing?
Good.
We're all right. We're a little drunk here.
Hey, Puff, it's good to see you in the booth again.
Yeah, I was just about to say shoes on the other foot this week.
Yeah.
Now I get to grill you.
Oh, wonderful.
Arrow. We're just waiting on Dylan,
Yeah.
and then we'll get the interviews.
I don't think you'd be able to hear Dylan over Packer's tears.
Packers aren't even here this week. We'll have to hear him
Hey, he's
whine
gonna be
about it
drowned.
next week.
We found him up back. He's in the garbage.
Yeah, that was very exciting there at the end.
It was tense.
Yeah.
You battled. I mean, we'll get a bit more in depth into it once we get underway. But you battled Ryan for the entirety of that race. I think all
Yeah.
26 laps. You guys
Literally.
were in each other's DRS range. It was wild.
I
Yeah.
don't know what the hell was up with my car.
Why? Didn't feel good?
I don't know. Like my pace was great at the start of the stints, and then after I just slowly moving back.
Yeah,
Maybe-
well, we noticed Ryan was closing towards the end there, and a little surprised because normally, yeah, you're.
Yeah, usually like my end of stints are better, but I don't know.
Yeah, you're always been like the tire whisperer. That was
My tire wear wasn't even that high, and my tire temps weren't like high either. I don't know. I just had like no pace at the end.
Where's Dylan? Is he coming?
Yeah. Well, related to that, when you saw the 26.2, what was your first word?
You mean the 24.2?
No, 26.2 in the race on soft tires.
I didn't even notice, honestly. There was so much.
I did.
There was so much battling. I honestly didn't notice.
Was that the fastest lap? I guess. I
Yes, that's
missed
the
it.
fastest lap.
That's gonna be better than my qualifying time on Thursday.
The fastest lap before that was set was 27.9.
Jesus.
Yeah.
A 26.2 legit might be better than my qualifying time on Thursday. That's crazy. And he did a 24.7 on the mediums. Here we are just boosting him. He's not even here.
Yeah, I think we'll just move on to
We'll
Arrow,
make
start our
it up for
interviews. He'll have to go
Hey,
at the
that's
end
me.
since he decided to
Yes, that's you.
to be tardy to the interviews. Biggest
All right.
I told you, he's out back.
Yeah. Is that back?
Consoling Packer.
Yeah. Sharing a champagne.
Here you go, buddy.
Yeah. You remember what this tastes like.
Yeah.
We're
At second place,
Savage.
obviously fantastic result again. Packer finished 5th, so you do get a solid chunk of points on him. I don't believe it's
Wait,
enough
he
to
finished
take the
5th?
lead. Yeah, he passed a few guys based on
Hold up.
penalties.
Let me do some quick maths. We're tied.
Tied.
Oh.
There it is. Tied going into next week. Why don't we start right there?
I gotta thank my third teammate Dylan for hitting him into I don't know that
Legends?
corner name. Yes, that
Yeah.
corner. It looked very violent. I think they both. I think he should have hit back, but you know.
Maybe Dylan deserves like a 25-second penalty. Who knows?
He'd
That would
still-
be really nice.
he'd still
That would be
win.
fantastic.
Did you say? Did you say third
Said-
teammate because Wolfsburg was the second teammate after your first teammate?
Yes, because I don't know what the hell happened to Fuzz. He's now on the chopping block. You didn't hear it from me. But the race,
Pulling an
though.
Albin.
Yeah, the race. I don't know. My race was kind of quiet,
Mhm.
at least for the first part. And then right before the pits, I was up by 3 seconds, and then I just slowly fell back to within a second of Camden. And then I got very fortunate coming out behind Wolfsburg, and you know,
Sure did.
represent.
Former Toro Rosso teammates. We did shout that out on the stream.
Yeah.
It
And
seemed
then,
like both of you were listening, perhaps, because it definitely seemed like he did you
No,
a favor
but
and screwed.
We were
Camden a
both
little
in a
bit.
party chat. He's like, "All right, I gotta let you buy now." I'm like, "I'm nowhere close to you."
yeah.
Yeah. After that, I my laps were really good. And then once Ryan passed Camden, they were just catching me so fast. But I knew right when Ryan passed Camden that he had a penalty, so I didn't have too much to worry about as long as I didn't like spin it. And I was also sitting on 2 warnings, so I was a little bit careful as a
Yeah, and
driver.
you held pace with him afterwards as well, so it's not as though once he got past you, he just kind of flew off into the distance. You kept in the DRS range, and
I
obviously
think
did
I
what you
could have
needed to
got
do.
back first on track on the second last lap, but I forgot to turn on overtake because I was like, maybe I don't need it. Or well, I wasn't like expecting to pass him there, but if I
Yeah.
turned it on, I would have passed him. I feel like if I did that, then I would have been in a bad position. So
Overall, though, solid race. Again, another podium, and like you said, tied now for the championship lead. How do you feel about
technically,
Hungary?
I am second, but because he
Is
is
it based
more
on
wins.
race wins? Is that the
Yeah.
tie break? Yeah.
Yes,
I should know that. I don't know why I'm asking you.
someone has to win a race for that to happen.
How do you feel about Hungary next week? You think you can take the championship lead?
No, if only we were going to Hungary, isn't it? Italy?
No.
No, it's Hungary.
Shit, God, these flags, just turn it. Alright. Oh man, I'm so excited for Hungary.
Here we go.
I thought it was Italy.
Nope.
Well,
Yeah,
all
no,
right.
we do have Hungary
I'm
next.
more excited than I was before. I'm hoping for a good result.
Awesome. And we'll move to Camden. Mentioned it briefly. You battled Ryan legitimately for 26 laps. You guys traded places a bunch of times. It was very enjoyable to watch. Why don't you give us your perspective on it?
Yeah, he raced me fantastically. It was a great fight from literally start to finish. There were some bumps in the way, though. There was a couple of guys that I had to get around. One of them was a reserve. I'm not going to call out his name, but I think we just got to be, more respectful when we go into other tiers, not to, make aggressive blocks or push people off track and give them wing damage. But I'm not going to comment anymore on that. Yeah, it was a good race. Qualifying was okay. Qualified in 6th. I felt like I had more pace than that, but was able to work my way up into the top 3, and then, you mentioned it, just battled Ryan the entire race. He just was able to stay with me. I just couldn't get away from him. He stayed in my DRS, and then kind of vice versa. When he got around me, I was just able to stay in his DRS. And then this is good for the driver standings and the constructors as well. This will help Racing Point a ton. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say. Dylan, if he didn't show up, that would have been nice. I don't know. I really don't know how he's that fast. It's incredible. But yeah, just a good, solid race.
Yeah, we thought Packer was a problem.
Oh, he still
And-
is, but
He still is, but Dylan is, in the 2 races since he's been back, has really shown some incredible pace. something to behold from a spectator's point of view. I'm sure it's slightly frustrating from a driver's point of view, but no, great racing, very clean. I know Adri, I think, had bumped you towards the end. He spun out. He was on for a good finish until that happened. So I think in the last few laps, it was 2nd through 7th were all within DRS range of each other. So no, fantastic showing, guys. Again, always a pleasure to watch. I don't really have any more questions. I don't know if you've got anything, Bigga.
Not really. Just wanted to comment on how great the race was. Honestly, really enjoyed that. Like right from the get-go to the end, it was like non-stop action. There was so many great battles through the field. Like each individual battle itself was like some of the best I've seen all year, and there was multiple battles this race that were that good. So just really
Extremely
happy to be here
clean,
commentating
too.
it. Honestly, like
Yeah.
to be here broadcasting that, see that kind of like, yeah, exactly, clean, really clean, tough, like hard racing. Really great stuff. That's what we're here for. So congrats to you guys for being part of that.
I have one thing of note in terms of standings wise.
Mm-hmm.
So before this race, Dylan was in 6th place with 74 points. Now after this race, he is 4th place with 100 points.
Oh. So he's behind me, is what you're saying. Great.
Yes. He is 26. He is 1 win and fastest lap behind you.
He's coming.
Well, if he could just do what he did before and not show up half the time, that would be really nice.
Or show up and then disconnect.
Yeah. Either way.
That was actually really unfortunate for him. But
Yeah, he had a disaster of a race in Australia too. I think he had like some weird drive-through and they messed with him
that was
somehow.
Packer at the drive-through.
Was it Packer? Okay, I remember both Haas guys were a little in some trouble. Sorry, I was going through the Discord. Dylan did message and say he wasn't able to make the interview, so
All right.
he's forgiven. But yeah, really not much more to say. Hungary next week for Tier 1, Tier 2 on Thursday in Britain, and EU on Sunday. We'll conclude our week in
It's going to be a home
Britain.
race for a lot of guys on Sunday, so that should be a good one.
Yeah, a lot of bragging rights for those. What do they say? 3/10 in your home Grand Prix?
Exactly.
So,
yep.
a lot of guys with a bit of extra speed there. Good luck to the two of you next week in Hungary. And yeah, if you can put on a show like you did this week, that would be fantastic.
It's going to be tough to overtake there. I think we could see a lot of lengthy battles there as well.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for tuning in, everybody. Thanks to the podium finishers for popping in. Thanks for everybody that watched the race. I hope you enjoyed it. It was honestly one of the best I've done so far, especially here in Tier 1. Thanks for being here. We'll catch you next time. Tune in Thursday for Tier 2 in Britain. Have a great night.